Hey, everybody. So it is the holiday season. Thanksgiving was last month, where we're encouraged to be grateful for the things we have, thankful. And December, you know, December, Christmas time, there's other several holidays in December. And for most of them, for selflessness, giving, they're the major theme here, right? So it's a time of reflection on the past year and looking forward to what you're going to do in the upcoming year. So given this holiday season with these themes of gratitude and giving, I want to talk about both those themes. Don't you think it's ironic that just one day after Thanksgiving, when we're encouraged to be thankful for what we already have, people trample each other for sales? So we only really talk about gratitude this kind of year, but it's truly a powerful tool on the path to financial independence. When you're grateful for the things you have, you're much less likely to feel unfulfilled by the stuff that you don't have. We often consume in an attempt to replicate the lives of the people that we see on social media, the influencers, the 19-year-olds who made 3.5 million in trading and are now traveling on private jets and Bugattis or whatever. This is dangerous because a lot of the time the facade that these influencers peddle is fake. The houses, the cars, the jewelry, and the private jet, they're likely rented, or even worse, these people took on debt to buy these things. Don't try to keep up with the Joneses because the Joneses are broke. So the Joneses are your neighbors who always seem to have the latest BMW designer clothing and other accoutrements that scream, "I'm rich." You know, they engage in one-upmanship a lot. They compare with their neighbors, with their peers, their coworkers. Don't be like these people, because in all likelihood they're in debt up to their eyeballs. Being grateful for what you have will keep you from buying stuff that you don't need. Um, not buying stuff you don't need leaves you with more money, which you will then be able to invest and secure your financial freedom earlier than the people who try to look rich but are actually deep in debt. Now, one thing that all wealthy people share is the ability to save money. They all spend less than they make. They all live within their means. And that is the basic key to wealth, being able to have extra money that you can invest. If you allow social media or your peers to influence you negatively, if you go online, you feel envy and insecurity. You become unhappy. When you compare, it steals your joy. But the antidote to that, the enemy of dissatisfaction, is gratitude. You don't feel the need to acquire more stuff if you're satisfied with what you already have. Don't let comparison steal your joy. Be grateful for the things you have and save for the future instead of buying stuff that you don't need. It's human nature to compare. We want to see how we're doing relative to others. If you think about it, most of us live better than even kings did few hundred years ago. We have access to a larger variety of food than even the very wealthy. Air conditioning was impossibly expensive 100 years ago. Only the rich had it. Today, even the poor have it. We have it in our cars, in our personal conveyances, which we can travel, miles in minutes, right? Comparison is why Gucci gets to sell crappy flip-flops for $500 and is still in business. Comparison is human nature, and no one is immune. Mark Cuban, who's worth 5 billion, if you, I don't know, probably more by now, right? He once admitted to being jealous of someone with 100 billion before realizing, what am I talking about? I'm a billionaire. I have more money than I'll ever be able to spend, right? And he was jealous of the person, right? No one is immune. His co-star, Robert Herjavec, on Shark Tank, he admitted to being jealous of Cuban's wealth. And me, I'm a millionaire. I have 7 figures, but I'm jealous of people with 8 figures, with 10 million or more. You may be jealous of my 7 figures, but someone else may be jealous of you. Think about that for a minute. What are you grateful for? You know, I'd like to turn that around. Instead of thinking what you're grateful for, think of what do you have that someone might be jealous of? Couples trying to conceive may be jealous of you having kids. Someone renting may be jealous of a person who owns a home. A broke college student may be jealous that person who's renting has enough money to cover the rent comfortably. Someone living in a third world country may be jealous of the college student who can get 3 free meals a day at school, and so on. There are billions of people who will never achieve the level of wealth that you're at now. So again, What do you have that someone else might be jealous of? What do you have that you're grateful for? Think about it for a minute. Pause the video if you have to. And then when you come back, how does that make you feel? How does having that thing that others are jealous of make you feel? It makes you feel grateful, right? It makes you feel happy. It's the exact opposite of the feelings you have when you see the stuff on social media that you don't have. The influencers, whatever it is that lights up your brain that, I want that, right? So if you're grateful, you'll end up spending less, and once you develop the sense of gratitude that keeps you going, the next step is to spread it, is to give of yourself. It doesn't have to be money, it could be time, could be expertise. I give my time and knowledge here on this channel and in many other ways. I tutor people, I coach people, not always for money. It's often free. I give classes and such. I give my time and my knowledge here with no expectation of a reward, completely free. And I do that because I like doing that. I like giving of myself, within reason. Um, Unlike the influencers filming themselves handing a wad of bills to a homeless person for likes, I donate in silence. Recognition isn't the important part. Praise is not the important part. And really, if you film yourself donating, if you make a big deal about you donating, it cheapens the donation. If you're a fan of the Bible, if you're a religious person, in Matthew 6:3, Jesus says that when you give to the needy, don't let your left hand know what the right hand is doing. Don't make a big deal. Help out because you want to. Be a cheerful giver, right? But only if you can. I believe in financial karma. What you put out into the universe gets multiplied and returned to you. And I feel that part of the reason why I'm so successful with money, or relatively successful with money, is that I've donated part of my income for most of my life. It's counterintuitive, right? That giving away money would actually be good for your wealth. But I believe it to be true. Some of the wealthiest people are also the most generous, and I don't think that's an accident. Sure, they get tax benefits, for being charitable, but it's more than that. They would give even, some people would give even if there were no tax benefits. I do that. I give anyway, regardless of tax benefits. And at a certain point, you recognize that you're not alone in this world, that you need to give back, or you want to give back. It's not even need to. You can't be obligated to give, right? To pay forward, right? So even if there isn't like a spiritual reason for it, if it's karma or whatever, people who donate have the mindset that you need to save, right? Think about it. You set aside 10 or 20% right when you get it, right? That money is already spent, right? So on the back of my business card, I have 10 financial principles that I follow. Number 4 goes like this: donate up to 10% of your income to create positive change in the world. Um, in religious circles, it's common practice to tithe, to donate 10% of your income. And this has endured for millennia. And I think the reason for that is because 10% is relatively sustainable anymore, and you run the risk of like running out of money. But don't let that 10% limit keep you from donating any less than that. It's not about the amount. If you can donate 5%, do so. 2%, 1%, even a dollar, that will can influence some positive change in the world. The amount is not important. It's the heart, it's the mindset to want to give to something greater than yourself, right? But very important, the money must have an impact. The point is to donate up to 10% of your income to create positive change in the world. The point is to create that positive change. There are some charities that use a majority of the donations for stupid stuff like overhead. The money is going to pay fat CEO salaries and maybe a bunch of advertising. Have you ever seen advertising for a charity? Yeah. That stuff costs a lot of money, and that's all money that gets donated that's not actually going to the end result, right? So if they spend a lot of their money on advertising, on overhead, maybe that charity isn't the best use of your money, right? Um, so everyone has, but donating is personal, right? Everyone has something different that they feel very strongly about. So make sure your hard-earned money is having the impact. That you are the best person to look into this stuff. If it's important to you and you worked hard for this money that you're giving away to try to create positive change in the world, make sure it's having an impact. And you can never really be sure that the money will be used for good, right? But I feel that once the money is given, it's over. It's theirs. It's no longer yours. If you spot that they're doing bad things with the money, they're not using it for good, then, stop donating. But like, once you've donated, don't feel bad if it gets used for something wrong, right? So uh, like sometimes I would give some money to people on the street. It's like, oh yeah, I need a few gallons to get home or whatever. And they're probably full of crap. They're probably just stealing, just scamming people. But on the off chance that I actually help someone, I like to err on the side of compassion, right? So don't be afraid to give. Good things will happen. If you open yourself up to giving, the universe will put opportunities for you to directly create positive change in someone's life, right? Just be open to it. Um, but a side note, you should always come first. You cannot give what you don't have. Make sure you're in a good financial position before you help someone else or you donate money. I know people whose church asked them or more like pressured them to donate and they borrowed money to do so. And that is horrible. That is completely wrong. It's totally against what I believe. Totally against like what I believe like universal principles are. Um, it's borrowed money is not yours to give away. It's not your income. You're supposed to donate up to 10% of your income, right? Not someone else's. That's someone else's income, right? Charity starts at home. You need to take care of yourself and your family before worrying about the neighbor. It's human nature to want to help others even when you're not in a good position, but you can't save someone from drowning if you yourself are drowning. You must come first. Put on your own mask. They say when you fly, put on your own mask before assisting the child in the seat next to you, right? Interestingly enough, so don't give away, borrowed money. That's horrible. Just give of what you have. Don't squeeze blood from a stone or whatever. Interestingly enough, there has been some research done on the return you get when you donate, and it's not just good feelings, right? I heard one study showed people got it like a 60% return on donated money. I don't know if it's scientific like that, and I doubt it's, repeatable exactly, but I challenged when I saw that video, when I saw that study, I challenged myself to a little experiment earlier this month. So a friend of mine on Facebook asked people to donate to a relief effort in North Carolina or somewhere like that, right? So I donated $50 to the GoFundMe, and this was on top of my regular monthly donations to various charities. I opened myself up, given Christmas and all that, to be a help or a blessing to someone, right? So I donated that $50. And I was like, I gave myself 7 days to see, I gave the universe, 7 days to see what comes my way, right? And it was interesting because the timing, wouldn't you know it, the very next morning, I received a notification that I just received some more Bitcoin from the Celsius bankruptcy that I was completely not expecting to get. I was going to get it, but I was not expecting to get it. And it was worth around $2,000. And I was going to get it, but it's just the timing is so perfect, So my challenge to you this holiday season, before the year ends, try it out. Donate something. See what unexpected financial bonus finds you that week, right? So with that, I hope you learned something. I will conclude this lesson. I hope I was able to create just a little positive change in the world.